Those of you who watch the webinars and view the videos know that there have been some dramatic changes in the Oomph viewer over the past year. Amongst those changes have been shared layers and the ability to move assets out of the section folders and share them globally. We've recently seen the ability to use .txt files and style them using CSS added along with SmartFit. These changes have laid the groundwork for the next big step in realizing the promise of Oomph to provide the simplest way to create and deliver engaging content to tablets. So I'd like to introduce you to the future, the Oomph Marketplace. At the moment, it's just a holding page where you can add your email for more information when we go live. But basically, Oomph Marketplace is a new online space where you can buy and sell Oomph iPad templates. So Marketplace operates in a similar way to many WordPress template providers. You simply download and modify an existing template and then publish it. It's that simple. So what does that mean? Well, as an example, I'm going to show you a scenario that's not beyond the realms of possibility. So imagine I've just received an email from the boss. It's a simple request masking a lot of work. So in the email, the boss has said, look, I've got an important meeting with a client in 30 minutes and I need an app on my iPad for the University of New England. Their abbreviation is UNE. I need to be able to drop in a Twitter feed and a map with the campus location. And he also wants me to put the dean's favorite picture of the university in the cover. So I've got the information in an email. What I need to do now is I need to find a suitable template that I can use. So we'll start off by logging into the marketplace. So basically, this is the sort of page you'll see when you come into the Oomph Marketplace. There'll be a set of templates, or you can actually buy the standalone app or the newsstand app. So we search through the different templates, and I've come to some down here. This one here is looking pretty promising. It's called the University Prospectus Simple. So if I want to get some more information on that, I can tap in there and it'll give me a highlight. It'll show me a sort of a larger view of the cover, gives me some information about it. There'll be a price so you can buy it. Some will be free, some will be charged for. I can see down here some smaller samples of the file. So obviously looking at this, it's got a big cover image, so I can replace the cover image, which is really good. I'll go and look at some of the other pages in there. Okay, the next page is a video page. It's not something he's asked for, so that's cool. Okay, the third page, the facilities one, has a Google map in it. So that's great because he wants to put a map in there, so I'll be able to replace the map. And the next page, the lifestyle page, is great because it has a Twitter feed in there. So I can do the Twitter feed. If I'm happy with this template and I want to use it, then what I can do is I can add it to my cart, purchase it, and download it. And basically what's going to happen, I'm going to download a zip file. I'm going to take the university zip and I'm going to drag it onto the Oomph Editor icon. So I drag it onto here. Okay, it's asking me where do I want to save the file. So I'll put it on the desktop and say open. It's launched Oomph Editor. It's launched the simulator. And it's installed the template all in one go. So we can take a quick look through the template. It's got some nice little animation happening here. It's got a little drop-down menu, which looks really cool. It's got our Google map. It's got just filler text in there, but we've got the map, and here's our Twitter feed, and the Twitter feed is actually sort of running at the moment. Okay, so what we need to do now, because the time's ticking away, we need to get this app built for the boss. So the first thing I need to do is change the cover image. Now I've already downloaded the image from the email and I've got it in a folder where I can use it. So I come into the editor and it first of all congratulates me on downloading this template, which is really nice. But in the body of it, it actually gives me instructions on how to update and modify the template. So for instance here we're looking at replacing the cover. So it tells me in 10 cover, replace the title and page title by replacing the text inside the title, S1-text, replace the background image 1 in S1-1.jpg with a cover image of your choice. Now, in here I've got some different files. I've got the instruction HTML, I've got a bundle and the source. If I just wanted to find out where that's located, if I just come to 10 cover and tap on it, a couple of things are going to happen. First of all, my instructions.html is going to open in a new window, and it's cascaded down the 10 cover where the images that I need to replace. So if I come into here and it's telling me to replace in background, I'm just going to scroll that out, background image. If I open this up, I can see inside we've got the S1-1.jpg image inside there. So I need to replace that. So I'm just going to hide editor for a while, and I come into here and I've got another file ready to go, and this is the one that was in the email that I've downloaded of the big house at the University of New England. So all I need to do now, and here's the file that was created for me, I just need to come into where my bundle is, into cover, background image, and I'm simply going to option drag that one into there and replace the old one with the new one. If I come back inside Oomph Editor, we can see that it's replaced that image with S1-1.jpg, and if I come up the top and preview it, you can see that it's loaded that image into the editor, into the simulator window. Okay, so the next thing we needed to do, we actually need to, if we come back into here, we need to look at this. It says Education Brochure and Education Facilitator. We need to change that title to the University of New England. So if you remember in our instructions here, it says about replacing the title and page title by replacing the text inside title. So I come into here, we open this up, and there's two files in here, the S1-1 text, which says Education Brochure, okay, which is the name that's on our template at the moment. So I'm simply going to change that to the University of New England. Hit save. Okay, and we'll just preview that again. Okay, so I've changed the text, but what's happened now is that my text is too long for the section where it's going to reside. So what I can do is come back into Editor, and I've got a style that is applied, a CSS style sheet that is applied to that piece of text. So in the CSS text, what I can do, I'm just going to change the text now to 33 pixels, save that again, and we'll just preview it one more time. Okay, so there we are. We got the title down to the right size, the University of New England. I just need to change this down the bottom here to UNE, which is the abbreviation for University of New England. So that is in the subtitle, and if I open that up, we'll see it up here, and I'm just going to change that. I'm just going to get rid of that, and UNE at the end. We'll save that, and we'll preview it one more time. And there's our second section change. Now I don't quite like the spacing on that. I want the for you on the second line, so I'm simply going to come back into here and put a break into there and move the journey back up to there. Save it, and we'll preview it again. Okay, now there's our front cover page done. So the next thing he wanted me to do was to update the map. So once again, I can come in and look in here, and that was the map was in the, if I scroll through here, we can see not on that section, not on that one, in the facilities section. So once again, I can come to my instructions, scroll down, it says 40 facilities, replace the title and page title by replacing the text inside the title. So once again, I can select 40 facilities, and it will cascade it open and show me the sections available. I need to come into B1-1, and I'm just going to right-click and automatically resize the page. And what I can see here are all the hotspots that make up this page. So this page here there's nothing sort of graphically on it, but a series of hotspot pages. Okay, so it's showing me the map and a set of coordinates here. I'm just going to quickly grab some coordinates that I'd been given earlier, okay, which are just here. I'm going to copy those coordinates and I'm going to paste them into here. Okay, we'll save that and let's test that in the simulator one more time. Okay, we'll come across to our facilities section. Okay, and what we can see down here now is we've got a map of the University of New England. So we replaced the map, but I also want to put one of those little pins in place as well. So using the same coordinates that I just pasted into there, I'm going to come into the map page, into the CSV, and we can see the ones that came with the template. So I'm going to select all of those files there, paste in the coordinates, put a comma, and type in University of New England. We'll just quickly save that and we'll view it again in the simulator. Okay, so a second later, we come through here. Now we've got our map with our pin University of New England on it. Okay, so there's our second step. We've done that. The final thing that he wanted me to do was to update the Twitter feed with one for the University of New England. We'll come back into our section again. So we know that the Twitter feed is on the lifestyle page. So we can either refer to the help file here that gives us information about what we need to change. So it says here, change the Twitter handle inside Twitter box. Okay. If we wanted to learn more about the Twitter feed, we could tap on this and it would take us into the help documentation. But for now, I'm going to go into Twitter box inside the lifestyles. And we'll open up Twitter box and there's a PDF in here. And we can see the two fields that make up that section. So I'm going to select that. And we can see over here in the hotspot editor, at the moment it's pointing to a Twitter feed called @education. So I'm going to change this to the New England University Twitter feed, which is UNI, New England. And at the same time, I'm actually just going to copy that. Okay, so we'll save that and we'll preview that again in the simulator. At the University of New England Twitter feed is being loaded into this page. The last thing I want to do is I want to change this is where the name resides. It's called Twitter box title. So I'm going to come into Twitter box title, look at the text file in there and it says @education, and I'm going to replace that with the @New England. Just quick save, look at it one more time, scroll through to the Twitter page, and now we can see that the title at the top of the Twitter feed is @Uni New England. So that's it, all the changes are done. I've met his brief, we're ready to go. The last thing I have to do is get this onto his iPad. At the moment I've just been using the simulator and you can see up here where the little preview button is. If I drop this down, it's got a section for iPad. Well, there's nothing there because there is no iPad plugged in there at the moment. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to plug an iPad in. I'm going to turn on reflection so that you can see the iPad. And I'm just going to come in here and turn on mirroring. So we can see the iPad. So we go back to here, it's still waiting, it's just taking a look to see if it can find the iPad. So now you can see that we've got the option to go to both places. We can view in the simulator or view it directly on the iPad. So I'm just going to bring up reflection again so we can see what's on the iPad. We're going to open up Oomph Viewer, something we don't want to look at yet, and we'll say show me all of it on the iPad. Okay, so what it's going to do now, it's going to bundle it up. I'll come into reflection. Bingo, it opens up in the iPad. So all I have to do now is disconnect the boss's iPad, hand it to him, he's got the whole thing on his iPad ready to walk into his presentation. I think what you can see there is like there's a huge potential here, huge potential. And I think what's really interesting in terms of, from a production point of view and from development point of view is the ability to really sort of use these templates, whether they're templates that you purchase from the marketplace and then modify for your own use, or whether you're building templates to put into the marketplace to sell from a revenue point of view, or simply changing your own workflow so that you start incorporating these type of effects and these type of sort of template functionality into your own work. In terms of the production cycle, it can make a huge difference. I think some of the really interesting aspects of it are this use of text. Now that we've had a look at sort of a brief overview of how you would use a template, let's take a little closer look at the editor itself. So when you launch the editor, you get, first of all, a browser window will open up, which will link you into support and give you some of the basic, InDesign and iPad pages that you can download. These are basic sort of layout pages. You can also come in and search for things. So if I'm looking for, I'm interested in share widgets and I can't remember what it is, I can come in here, do a search for it, locate the one that I'm after in the results, select it, and it's going to take me into that whole section of share widgets. And there's all the information that I need inside the little browser window. If we went and looked for something like, Twitter feeds, if there's an associated video tutorial with it, we'll see that as well. So you've got all this information at your fingertips now, and it's all built into Oomph Editor, this ability to go in and search for information. Okay, so if we just want to sort of simply open something in Oomph Editor, we can do that too. Now, what I'm going to do is I'm going to open this little one here, which is the my Experience the Highs project. So I'm simply going to drag that on top of Oomph Editor. Now, because I'm opening it with an information file, it's actually launching the iOS simulator at the same time, and it's going to open that file in there. Now, the editor at this time is sort of really, we're still working on it. There's lots and lots of things that we want to do with it. It's going to become incredibly fully featured. And we encourage you to sort of, I'm going to give you the link to download it at the end of the webinar. I'd really encourage you to start using it and looking at it and seeing what sort of things we can do with it. This is one I was playing with the other day, just wondering, how it would go if I wanted to sort of have drill downs into different areas. So I use a lot of schematics when I'm working out my projects. So in here I've inserted an image with an image map on it. And so if I'm interested in this area here, if I tap on it, okay, it's going to obviously pull this out of the window for me so I can see the information there. But if I keep tapping it, it keeps drilling down to where that information is that I want to see. So we can see here that on the map I'm talking about this section, and it's actually opened up the object to show me where those are. If I want to look at something else, I can come into here and say, okay, well, yeah, this is how I did this section here. I can't remember how I did it. Where was it? If I do that, it's showing me that it's in shared layers. If you see on the right-hand side, layers just pop down. If I tap it one more time, it's going to open directly into that page that's specific to my schematic. So for me, this is a great thing to help me remember where things are, how I've implemented certain functions through this system. So a quick look around the editor. So basically it's divided into a series of panels. Obviously at the top we've got the preview option. Now the way the preview will work, we can look at everything on the simulator or the iPad if it's connected. If you're looking at if you want to see it on the simulator, you need to have iOS Xcode and iOS Simulator installed. But if you don't have that, you can simply plug in your iPad, and then you can use the iPad for previewing. And I've just plugged in the iPad again. In a section later, in a few minutes, it'll come up and show me that the iPad's available. Over on the side here will be a link through to get templates, and in the future you'll be able to publish straight from editor to the Oomph publishing system. So down the left-hand side are all our project files. So we can expand that out. You see here I'm using lots of sort of layers, and I've got additional elements that I'm sharing through shared layers onto here. So I've got navbar, Wonder, Pano. One of the great things about Editor is that it's such a cool visual way to look at your different elements and things like that. So it's easy to come in and see different things, except for there's nothing much on those to see. Let me come into the contents page. So this will be a bit more interesting. So if I look at P1-1, now over here this is our sort of main editor window, and I can slide up and down around inside here. If I right click, I can automatically resize. Okay, sorry, that was a question of what's in the All tab. Okay, so if I'm previewing this, so let's say for instance, I want to view this whole thing. I want to view everything in the simulator. So I hit the button, and a second later, it's going to load it into the simulator. So there it is. Looking good. Okay, but sometimes if I've got a really big project, it's going to take me a while to sort of compile it every time and then look at it in the simulator. What I can do under here is I can say, show me a section only. So if I wanted to look just at this section here, I'd select section and hit play. And what it's going to do now is only going to load that specific section into the simulator. So if I tap down here in the interface, you'll see there's only one section loaded. But it means that it's very fast. So I can either do all or just a section, and I can either do it on the simulator or on the iPad. So if we come back into here, as we look down, we can see all of these files in here. So I've got the P1 file, I can see that. I've got the P1-2 where it moves in from bottom. I've got the other section where it's moving from right. Okay. And then what I can have a look at, and here is my animations. I can see my animations. I can edit all my animations in here. I can see different things I've got inside object folders. I can see alternate views. One of the other things I can look at is I can also look at things like page swaps or in-page slideshows. So for instance, if I come into here, into my Wonders navbar, I think I've got here. And so when I open this page, I can see in here a hotspot. This is a hotspot that's part of that page, and same on P1, there's one here as well. And if I click on it, it'll highlight it, and you can see here in the hotspot editor that it's pointing to S1, which is the S1 slideshow. And if I open the S1, we can see the image that's inside it. Now, inside a slideshow, obviously, you can have multiple pages that are presented as individual pages. If I right-click on here, I've got some different options. Obviously, I've got the automatic resize, but I've also got down here I can view in single page or single page continuous. So if I view in single page continuous, and in this one there is only one image. Let's try this one here. There's only one in that. Sorry, I need to find something that has a slideshow. I know where it is. If I come into Dengar's, okay, in-page slideshow. Okay, so what you can see now, so if I'm in single page, I just see one page, but because there's multiple images in this S1, if I right-click and do single page continuous, what I can see now are all of the images that are contained within that slideshow. I can also look at it as 2 pages continuous, which is really going to show me everything, and then I can use Command- to zoom in and out so I can see all of the slides that I'm using inside that slideshow. This is especially handy if you're doing a lot of page swaps, because you can see very clearly what goes on with those page swaps. One of the things I'm going to do is I'm going to open up another file here, which I've got Orion brochure, and I'm going to drag that onto Editor, and what you can see here is that it's opening up 2 editors at the same time, so I can have multiple editors open simultaneously, looking at different things. Okay, so we can see here that it's allowing me to view on the simulator or the iPad, and what I'm going to do here is I'm going to come into the Kimberley Spice, and here's a page swap page. So I'll open that. We'll resize it down, and here you can see all of my page swaps that are in here. So if I tap on that, that's an R11 with the transition equals dissolve. At the same time, when I'm selecting a hotspot, it's also giving me some information about that hotspot and the type of things it can do. And if I select more information, it's going to take me into the documentation, into the browser window and documentation, and really explain it all to me. It's telling me the relative size and position, and I can simply come in here and change the different types of transitions if I want. While we're in here, if we take a look down at this next panel, which are the Oomph widgets, these are all the widgets that are available to me. So obviously we've got actions, calendar event, maps, notes, email links, etc., multimedia, card flip, flipbook, full screen slideshow, etc. So if I want to use one of those, I can simply sort of take it. So let's say, for instance, we want to put a notes in here. I'll simply drag it out onto the page, and it's giving me the correct code for it up in the hotspot editor. And then I can simply drag it out and position it wherever I want. So in this case, let's say we put it down over that bottom section there. We'll make this one the hotspot. That. Okay, so if I want to see this and see how this is working on the iPad, I can simply select that section, view it on the iPad, and I'm just going to come back into reflection again. Okay, and it's loaded that section, so we've loaded Kimberley with Spice, and if I do the rotate, now remember I put a notes section on there, and it's not showing up. Oh, because I'm trying to tap on this. I need to tap on the iPad itself. Let's have a look and see if we've got, okay. So I need to come back into here. Okay, so I guess my notes didn't work. I'll drag it out again. Drop that onto there. We'll save that. We'll view the section. I'll tap on the iPad. There we go. Now we've got a set of notes have come up. So that's the other cool thing you can do inside Editor. You can actually start creating your own links and bits and pieces inside there. Just remember the editor is being constantly updated. Encourage you all to download it and start giving us feedback on the forums. I think you'll find it'll change the way you work. I know that Nick's been using it for a while, and yeah, he's loving it. There are lots of things that we want to do, and you'll see it change almost on a daily basis.